Controller sensitivity. Sensitivity can often be the difference between a good player and an extremely good player. Today I'm going to show you how to find the optimal sensitivity on controller. Be sure to check out my Discord server, top link in the description, and also comment controller players on top if you're on controller and want to see controller players get more recognition. Let's go! I believe that everyone has the sensitivity that they perform best at in game. It is just our job to find it. If you have no idea of what your optimal sensitivity might be, I'd suggest you start with a basic sensitivity, not too high and not too low. I'm going to give you one of these right now. You're going to start with 35 look, 1.8 build and edit multipliers. All the boosts turn off, like turning boost time, turning ramp time, 9% both ADS sensitivity, linear, and 10 dead zones. Now I've told you the base universal sensitivity, don't go anywhere because we have to change it now. In some occurrences this might be enough for you, but I don't think this is going to be a perfect sense for most people. Here's what I want you to do. You're going to play on this sensitivity for as long as you need to play on it to have a feel for the sensitivity. If you find yourself missing a lot of shotgun shots close range and you're over flicking, I would suggest turning the look sensitivity down slightly. Not too far, but just down. On the other hand, if you're struggling to track opponents close range around your box, or even just close range in general, I'd suggest you up that sensitivity. Not so much that it affects your shotgun aim though. You can really change your sensitivity based on your playstyle. If you like going for flick shots, then make sure you have a higher sensitivity, higher look. But if you go for a lower sensitivity, a lower look sensitivity, you might be the type of player that likes hitting consistent shots from further away. In terms of the build sensitivity, if you find yourself over flicking a lot of edits and messing up a lot of edits, you might have to turn this down. On the other hand, if you haven't got high enough sensitivity to do some of the retakes you normally do, or you feel like the sensitivity isn't fast enough and your crosshair placement isn't good enough to edit what you normally edit, you might have to higher it slightly. So I would suggest working on your crosshair placement. That being said, some people prefer having a high edit and build sensitivity anyway. I'd exercise the same caution on the ADS sensitivity. You don't want to go too high because if you're close range and you're trying to aim in, you're going to be really flicky. But if you're struggling to keep up with opponents that are gliding nearby to you, you might just have to turn it up. Again, on the other hand, if you're shooting people long range and your crosshair is spiraling out of control around them, you might have to turn it down. That's going to help you hit more precise and consistent shot. I would not recommend switching to exponential though from linear. The linear one I've given you is actually so much better than exponential. It's so much more consistent and it's so much easier to build muscle memory on. I can hardly name a single pro that is on exponential. Dead zones are an interesting thing, and this will depend on your controller. If you switch the dead zone to 10 and find yourself having a bit of stick drift, you need to higher them up to cancel out the stick drift. The dead zone is how much you need to move the stick for it to count as an input. The lower the dead zone, the smaller movement you have to make for it to count as an input. Having a low dead zone is pretty good because it makes the game feel more responsive. So go as low as you can. I like to stay around 10, and when my controller starts to get stick drift, I higher it up slightly until there's no more stick drift. I would strongly not persuade you to just copy a pro sensitivity in this, guys, because pro sensitivities are often a little bit out there and they're not going to be perfect for you specifically. I'd recommend going to basic sensitivity and just working your way up and down from there. If you're a newer player, I'd suggest going lower sensitivity. However, if you're a more advanced player and are really fast at editing and that sort of stuff, I'd recommend going a little bit higher sensitivity. Every single player that plays Fortnite is different, and therefore their sensitivity is going to be different. No use copying these pro players, because at the end of the day, you probably have a different playstyle to most of them. Sensitivity is super important, but what about binds? Binds are if not more important than sensitivity, and this video is going to tell you the most optimal binds for your controller that you currently use. Go watch it, it is a banger, trust me guys.